Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to our Q4 YouNext members meetup. Today is going to be a very exciting session. We have a guest speaker in our midst, and we'll be looking at a very vital platform today. We're looking at building a personal brand and selling on LinkedIn. Now, we have carefully picked LinkedIn because gradually, if you look at it, you see that LinkedIn has evolved from just being a resume platform where suit and tie Twitter, we used to call them, were majorly social media platform for suit and tie Twitter. LinkedIn is now more like a proper platform for professionals, and it's also a great networking platform, social media platform. I'll just run you through a number of facts about LinkedIn, so you have an idea, or you have an idea on how important this platform is and how it ties into the YouNext program. Currently, globally, there are about 740 million users on LinkedIn in more than 200 countries. In Nigeria, we have more than 5 million active users on LinkedIn. Lastly, according to HubSpot, LinkedIn is 277% more effective when it comes to lead generation, more than Facebook and Twitter. So this is one of the reasons why we've picked LinkedIn as a platform where we feel having an extra background training in would help in your activities as YouNext members. And we've carefully identified a guest speaker that we believe would do justice to this topic. So today we would be having none other but Mr. Seun Odegbami, and I'll take you through his background before handing over the mic to him. Seun is a storyteller, a brand and marketing specialist. He currently manages a brand agency that helps small and medium businesses grow their brand. Seun has also led several projects that has helped over 100 plus job seekers and career persons to upskill. He has also won several awards, including Best Contribution Entry for a product in one of Nigeria's leading telecommunications brand, Top 50 Personalities on LinkedIn for 2021 by Safety, amongst many others. In his 9 to 5, he leads a media and communications operation for a fintech company. In his free time, he loves to cook, game, Netflix, and chill. He's also one of the co-venerers of LinkedIn Local Lagos 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, Seun Odegbami, you have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for the introduction. I hope the noise in my background is not it's not disturbing.
It isn't. I think it's fine from my end.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you for the introduction. How many minutes do I have? Because I know it's 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, so you have 20 minutes. The entire session should be for about an hour. So you have 20 minutes.
Okay, I hope I'll be able to finish within 20 because what I have in my head is more than 20. It's more than 20 minutes.
All right, sure, let's have it.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Nexford University. I appreciate being invited to share knowledge and insights. It's not every time you get an opportunity to do so. It's not every time you get an opportunity to do so with other people, get to share your knowledge. So we'll be talking about building a personal brand and selling on LinkedIn. I know we've heard about a lot about personal brand, and then we heard a lot about selling. In fact, if some people here could write a book about how much persons have told them about personal brand, they would, because that's what almost everybody does every time you hear them say. But I'll be coming from a different perspective, especially relating to sales in terms of personal branding and how your sorry, I'm trying to shift the slides. Trying to see if I don't know. I can't seem to control the slides. Trying to see if I can.
You should be able to control it now, but then if you need me to, I would just help you out with that.
Okay, that's fine. So I can see the notification to control it, but I'm still unable to do so. The notification is there, I'm clicking it, but let me just go ahead so that I don't spend too much time on
Okay, I'll just
it.
control it from here.
All right, thank you. So branding is the art and science of influencing the perception of a product, which is you. So in terms of branding, it's all about influencing perception. How do people feel about you? How do people see you as when they come across your brand? We feel a certain way when we see a brand. When you see Starbucks, you feel a certain way about their product and their service. It's not like they have out of the world coffee, but their coffee is branded. That's what makes them different. You feel a certain way when you come across their brand. So branding is an art and it's also a science, meaning that there's an art to it and there's also a science to influencing perception of people. When I take a look at somebody like Kamala Harris, who is the vice president of the US, this is not our first time of trying to build our brand. In fact, I've read a couple of books about how she has been building her brand. She has not been doing it from now. She has been doing it for a very long time. And then in one of the court cases that she had, she made a statement or a quote. She said, at every step of the way, I've been guided by the words I spoke from the first time I stood in a courtroom. So she has said these words from time to time. And over time, people have had a certain perception of her, of who she is. She's somebody that fights for the honor. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me. She's somebody that fights for the underdog, and she's somebody that looks through how people feel. So she's working on that same leverage. Now, when she was about to be put up for that particular role as vice president, those are some of the things that they look at. So when you're branding, you have to think of perception, how people feel when they see you. Can you move to the next slide? Thank you. So what happens is that when you're able to build a brand of yourself, trust is built. So trust is very, very key. Now, if anybody is going to buy from you, they are going to actually need to trust you. And it's very, very key in branding. So how do you build this trust? We can move next one. Okay, so branding effects. A powerful brand can influence people to buy, share, donate, or in our case, refer. So as a salesperson, if you're able to brand yourself very well, you can actually influence people to buy from you. So for example, we have this Kardashian. She happened to have sold her products, like people were just buying from her because what? She has a good brand online. She sold, I think right now she's one of the youngest millennials out there. she's selling and she keeps selling her product and services based on the kind of brand that she has built. So if you build a very good brand as a salesperson, you'll be able to sell to people. I have this particular cost to sell, this product to sell, you sell it to people, people are actually able to buy from you. So the next thing is that how then can professionals like you brand yourself? So for professionals like us, how can we brand ourselves? The next one. We can move to the next one. Yes. So the first thing is to understand the brand you. A brand you is who you are and what you stand for, the values you embrace, and the way in which you express those values. It is what customers and would-be customers need to make a decision to get you on board. In most cases, it has to be unique. So I'll say for me, when I started out on LinkedIn, it was all about, I just want to get an opportunity. I just want to get a job. I want to move to the next stage. That's what I just wanted to do. But I didn't realize that at a point in time, I needed to actually understand my values, understand what I'm trying to push out, and understand who exactly I am. So what are the values that people look out for? Now, if I'm going to give you your money or I'm going to trust you, you need to have integrity. How do you show people on social media that you have integrity? Integrity too is part of the trust that we're talking about. We're in the online space and most of what we do and how we sell to people is online. So trust is important. People need to trust in your integrity. How can you share your values? There are several ways of sharing your values. One way is by creating content, which we will talk about. Creating content. When you create content, you're able to share value. People can see that I think you have a specialty in this. I think you have a niche in that. So that allows you to actually create value. And when people see that value, they can trust in what you want to actually sell. Because the truth is, a lot of us don't want to be sold. A lot of us want to be sold to, but we don't want to know that people are selling to us. So I know I want to buy, but I don't want you to tell me that come and buy. You can, that's why we have people that know how to do copywriting, that they use words to mesmerize us. By the time you see the copy, we don't want to know that we're being sold to, but we actually want to buy. But if you just come to my DM and just tell me, I'm selling Nexford University course, this, will you buy? I'll just look at you, I'll just say, okay, I'll answer you based on courtesy because I'm a salesperson and I know how it feels when I enter people's DM and ask them for information or want to sell to them. So you have to be able to look at those things when you're trying to sell out. And one of the best ways to go about it on LinkedIn is through your content. And how do you do that? You need to create content that will help you. So we'll also talk about that. We quickly move to the next one. So to get started, you need to identify who you are by asking yourself this question: what motivates you as a person? For me, some of the things I like to talk about when I'm on social media or when I try to build my personal brand is I have two key things I talk about. I talk about leadership and I talk about the things I like about marketing. So when you come to my profile, what you see is things that has to do with leading people, leadership, and things that has to do with marketing. So when you come, you already know that this is what you are saying. So what are the things that motivate you to become the leader that you are or the leader that you are today? What are those stuff that motivate you? So if I ask you tomorrow, what is that thing that when people tap you, you can talk about? So those are things that motivate you. Where do I do so well in? So you can ask yourself, where do you do so well in? When in terms of when people get to call you and say, can you help me fix this project? You need to understand that that is a niche in itself. So the thing about building your brand is that, and trying to sell is that there's this rule that I read before. It's called the 80-20 rule. I know some of us already know it. So for 80-20 rule for personal branding for me is 80% of the time I talk about other things that has to do with giving out value to people. And then 20% of the time I sell. So I don't sell 100% of the time. But for every time I put out 3 content, the remaining 2 content is to actually sell myself, sell what I have to offer, because I must eat, I must put food on my table. I cannot be giving you value content and you'll be enjoying it. You must also come and buy from me. I feel that way, it works that way. So where do you excel in helping others? You need to know that will help you to build your personal brand. Where are my greatest weaknesses? I think some people forget that you can actually use your weaknesses to build your personal brand. There are a lot of people that have relatable issues in the country right now. everybody wants to travel to Canada. So definitely everyone wants to progress in their career. And if you're going to progress in your career, you are going to need to probably do an MBA or probably do some sort of higher course to be able to earn more. So those are the kind of things that you want to share, because that is the kind of thing that is relatable. Now, if you can share that kind of thing, if you come to my DM and you send me that kind of message as a salesperson, I'll be like, okay, I think you understand me and you can relate to where I'm coming from, because this content you just sent to me is something that I know that I want to travel or I want to advance in my career. And you have offered to tell me that, okay, this MBA course help you upskill. If you're earning $1,000, the next 2 days you'll be able to earn $3,000. I think that's something valuable that you can actually sell to somebody, especially online. When you tell them what exactly their need is in relation to the kind of content that you are pushing out. So you can move to the next one. So you need to define your audience. Who are you trying to reach? And if it is career persons, the best place to start is on LinkedIn. So if you are trying to reach out to career persons, of course, they are on other platforms. There are a lot of them on Twitter. There are a lot of them on Instagram, Facebook, maybe not. I'm not too sure, because that place, it's a wonderful place. And then we have LinkedIn as well. So if this is for the purpose of this class, we are focusing on LinkedIn. So we have a lot of career persons on LinkedIn. And definitely if you're on LinkedIn, you are following people that most likely they are professionals. If they're not professionals, they are either CEOs or they are either entrepreneurs. So definitely you are in the right place if you're trying to sell a course. And the opportunities on LinkedIn is much. There's the search. It allows you to search. It allows you to niche down. It allows you to look for some certain set of people in certain organization and actually reach out to them. So you need to define the people that you are reaching out to. Are you as a person who is trying to sell on LinkedIn? Who are the set of persons you should be reaching out? If I am in business development and trying to sell career, I might want to reach out to an L&D person in L&D, learning and development of an organization. So that's the best person I want to help, start a relationship with, collaborate, partner with, because I know that L&D guys can help me to introduce my product to people in their organization, or we can come to an agreement or a partnership to help. So you can really meet a lot of HR guys on LinkedIn platforms. Start with a conversation, chat them up. When they do post, engage them. Also, don't forget that you need to also be doing your own personal branding by creating content and creating posts, because whoever you are reaching out to or you're trying to sell on LinkedIn, you go back to your profile and check if you posted anything, or even if you've not posted anything, have you attached anything? Did you put a picture? So LinkedIn has a feature that allows you to attach features on your post. You can attach pictures, you can attach links, more like what you have on Instagram, where you put in links to, like the link tree on Instagram, where you can link them to other stuff that you do. So you can have that on LinkedIn, you can feature it. So what they do is people go back to check your profile and see, do I need to do business with Sean? Let me check his profile. If he's not posting, at least he must have something that I can relate to. So I'll share an example. Yesterday, I was in a program yesterday, it was the LinkedIn Hangout program. So the lady that came to talk about personal branding, she said one thing. She said she snapped a picture, and the picture was a very nice picture, and she puts that picture on her profile. So that picture that she put on her profile, right? Somebody saw the picture and said, this one, it be like say she go no book. So if I give her work, she's going to deliver. So she was laughing about it, and it was really true. When the person gave her the work and she delivered, the person now replied and I said, I knew it that when I saw your picture, you were going to deliver. So I'm not just saying that you should just snap a picture and put it on your profile, fine picture, but I'm just trying to say that those are some of the things that people look at when you're trying to sell, especially on LinkedIn. Packaging is part of it. If you need to take a certain nice photograph, if you have a nice iPhone 13, 12, 11, snap a nice profile picture, put it there. If you don't have that one, you can do studio. Your own is that your aim or your goal is, because if you're on LinkedIn, if you don't have an aim or a goal, you're just playing around. What's your aim? What's your goal? If I write any post or content, when I'm talking on LinkedIn, I have an aim, I have a goal. I don't just write the content. Is either I'm trying to get the contact information, or I'm trying to get somebody to contact me, or just have a conversation with me. So I always have a goal. So now we've established that, okay, everyone has a goal, or part of the goal is to actually to sell to people. And that's part of the goals that we're looking at. So when you're trying to push out content, you need to have that at the back of your mind. And you need to understand that there are some things that you may not be able to write, especially if you are representing a brand. You might not be able to write some things. You might have to niche it down and try and represent your brand in a positive light if you want to sell as well. You don't want to talk about religion too much. Politics, sometimes you don't even want to talk about it. You just want to stay within your lane so that you can actually sell. Like I said, your goal is to sell, not to make enemies. When you make enemies, you're not able to sell. Just try and stay in between. So we'll move to the next slide. So start creating content. I talked about that. The next one. So the type of content you can use for conversion and sales is webinar, educative carousel, and storytelling. So for example, webinars, if you've been in connection with a couple of people, now, from what I know, a lot of people are looking to hit the limelight, or a lot of executives are looking for platforms to build their personal brand. So if you actually reach out to them and say, please, I'm hosting a webinar tomorrow, or maybe in a week's time, I want you to come and talk about educational, how to improve your skills professionally. Just craft a nice topic, invite them over. I'm sure they will come and they would like to share their knowledge and insight without charging a dime or asking you to pay them. So you could get people to now sign up for those webinars. If you can sign up for those webinars, you can host it on Zoom. When you sign up for those webinars, host it on Zoom. When you're able to host it on Zoom, after that progress, you can use that opportunity to actually sell to people. So that is very, very key. So webinars are very, very important, and they can help you to convert. It might not be immediately, right? But they actually help you to convert. So you could set up to do like 2-3 weeks, reach out to HR people, reach out to people in learning development, reach out to people that you know that they can help you to convert your sales in terms of numbers. So do webinars. Then you can do educative carousels as well. I don't know if we know how to use Canva. I don't know if you know how to use Canva, but if you know how to use Canva, you can actually create something nice, something very simple on Canva, put it together, and give out value. When you do that as well, at the end, make sure you have your call to action. I know some marketers here already know what the call to action is. The call to action is make sure that people contact you, send you a DM or send you a message. But please give me like 2 minutes. I want to change my location. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, guys, if you're just joining in, we've had Seun Odegbami speaking. He's taking us on personal branding and selling on LinkedIn. Please keep your questions. You can drop your questions in the chat box. I'm sure we have a number of questions we'd like to ask him. We would have the Q&A session at the end of the training or the masterclass. So far, personally, I think I've picked 3 things. The first thing Seun mentioned is you have to first build your brand. So it means beyond anything else, you have to first build your profile on LinkedIn. So it means you must be known for something by your audience. So are you known for sharing educative stuff? Are you a thought leader in the MBA industry, in MBA, or what is it that you want to specialize in? As the first thing Seun mentioned. The next thing is grow your profile. And I noticed something very fascinating about the way LinkedIn algorithm works. So when somebody just likes your posts, it actually appears on their page like they posted it. And that's something amazing about LinkedIn, and edge it has over other platforms. So what that means is that you just need to put out something, and once anybody on your page likes it, it goes on their page. So you have a larger audience that you can possibly reach, because for every like, it appears like that person posted the same thing that you posted. And we should remember the aim is to generate leads. That's the major thing we're trying to do as YouNext members. So you're trying to generate leads that will be attributed to you. So, and if that's the case, then it means all you need to do is to put out your link, let it go as far as it can possibly go. And LinkedIn is that platform where you can do that. I also noticed that on LinkedIn, there's no following ratio. So it means you can connect with anybody, literally anybody, CEOs, head of HRs here and there, working professionals. You can search an organization and just connect with everybody there. And all you do is, click connect, they accept, and, they're your network, Yes, Sheon is back. Yes, Sheon, you can go ahead.
Okay.
All right. The floor is yours, Sheon.
Sorry, yeah, thank you. Okay, so you mentioned the aim is to actually generate leads, which we talk about in terms of the webinars. So the webinars allow you to generate those leads that you need. When you host webinars, you can actually invite people. So I think there's a little bit distraction. I'm sorry. So for the webinars, then the educative carousels, once you create a content that you can actually push out. Now, this content allows you to actually give out value. When you give out value, you can put out your lead. Sorry, there's a distraction here. Sorry. Hello, sorry. I wanted to go away from. So we're talking about educative carousels, and then the next thing is to write more stories. So if you're building your personal brand, one of the things you can do is to write more stories. So I'm going to teach us something about how to write our stories and how to actually sell. So we can move to the next slide. I have a sample that I wrote out. Next one. Can you hear? Are we there? I don't know. I think the slides went off.
Sheon, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you. I think you just went out for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was saying we could move to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to really share in terms of building your brand is to tell more stories. So for me, stories are problem solving. Stories are they'll help you review all your cards when you're telling the stories. Your audience get to see themselves in the story, and then they get to put themselves in the story that you're trying to sell. So what I'm saying is that when you're trying to build your brand, you have to talk more about yourself. Unfortunately, that's how the world works. I'm not saying that you need to tell everybody what you do or tell everybody that you bought a new car or you bought a new house. No, that's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you to tell your stories about your values, about what you stand for. For example, I mentioned earlier that some of the things I like to stand for is I like to stand for in terms of my marketing and in terms of my leadership. So if I'm writing a story, it is related to that. So I use that story to actually build trust. And when I'm able to build that trust I need and I can actually sell to people, sometimes you see a lot of people, they do that on their WhatsApp status. They tell a lot of stories. And then when they finish telling the story, they put a call to action or a link and they tell you to come and buy. There's a reason why they are sharing it. They don't want to come across as too salesy or that you sell or almost all the time. So we'll go back to our 80-20 rule, that says that 80% of the time you can talk about other things or your niche, and then 20% of the time you can sell. So how do you sell? We can move to the next slide. Okay, so this is an example of application of a story that you can tell. So for example, now a lot of people, we know a lot of people have dogs. I don't know, or maybe some people in this comment section, I know that they like dogs. So definitely it's relatable. So some people might like dogs there. So how can you use a dog to sell out your courses, right? So there was this lady, she had been selling, but she was not making too many sales. So one day her dog passed away. And then she sent an email to her leads. So the truth is, you don't, as you all know in sales, it's not immediately you convert a lot of people. Sometimes you need to have 3.456 touch points with them before you actually convert them to actually buy from you. So you even need to have some other things in play, maybe your follow-up, your email, your text message, maybe your WhatsApp message. I know some persons here, they've been following up with me back to back via WhatsApp. If they didn't do that, I won't even go ahead with the service. Like, I'm the kind of person that you need to follow up with me back to back. So, so she shared with a newsletter to our leads, and she told them that she just lost her dog, and that the dog has been with her for 3 years, and this and that and this and that. And immediately she finished that, she said, okay, that if you still like to buy my course is still available, but I don't have time. She wrote all the stories she wanted to write. And at the end of the day, during that period, she had 50 times more sales than what she had before when she was just pushing out content. So people actually were able to relate because people had cats, people had dogs, and people could relate to the loss of or having lost something. People could feel that in our content. We'll go back to the beginning where we said it's about perception, it's about how people feel about you. At the end of the day, when you want to sell, people buy because of feelings, their emotions. When you're able to touch, there's this thing we call here, I don't know if all of us are not foreigners here, it's what we call Momo button. If you touch somebody's Momo button, if you know how to touch people's Momo button, you can tell them anything. So that's the aim of the story, is to make it relatable and to make it convertible. So we can move to the next slide. So tell your story, as we were saying earlier, it defines who you are. It allows you to be able to share your values and the ones that you stand for. So don't just tell any story. Just look for a story that talks about the value that you stand for, the virtues that you have. Just look for it, because a lot of people don't know how to. They want to tell stories, just any type of story, but it's not just any type of story. So if for example, now I want to tell a story about, okay, for example, I want to sell a Nexford course. What I will do is I'll likely start my story and say that, okay, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been trying to change careers. I'm trying to move from product marketing to maybe data science, right? And I've been looking for, where to hone my skills, but I've not been able to do so. It's been challenging. So a lot of people can relate to it. Like we said earlier, in terms of building your personal brand, you need to come from a place of relatability. People need to be able to relate to it. If they don't relate to it, you can't actually sell to them. You just be like every other salesman that comes to play. So tell more stories that stands for your value. You can move to the next slide. So stories help create trust. We've talked about that. Can move to the next one. Yes, let's move to the next one. Extra bonus. So how to sell in direct messages on LinkedIn. So the way most of the time I go about it is when I connect with people is that, number one, I have to make sure my profile is optimized. Unfortunately, this is not a LinkedIn optimization class, but your profile has to be optimized. And when I mean optimized, I mean have a nice picture. We've talked about that. The truth is, we are human beings, or we judge by looks. That's what the truth. People judge by looks. Let's not lie that. Let's not tell ourselves that Don't judge a book by the cover. It's not like that. It's what is on the inside. It's a lie. People, I don't know, maybe in the next century, they still judge by how you look like. So you must at least be presentable to an extent. So you have to connect at a granular level. So that means that your profile has to be optimal. So if you want to connect on a granular level, what you need to do is, or what I do is I look through your profile. I look through all the things you've done. I search for you through your Facebook or Google, because sometimes if you want to close people, you need to understand them and understand where they're coming from. And LinkedIn allows you to check out a lot of, LinkedIn allows you to have a deep dive into the person that you're checking out, unlike other networks. Like you can have a deep dive into who this person is, how they are posting, what their relationship is, what they like. You can see it there. So I get to the granular, I look at it. If you like football, and I like football, I could connect on that level. If I can, I could just connect about something amazing that you are doing. So I'd rather show you that this is how I can help you achieve this result and tell. So when a lot of people jump into DM, they're only telling you how they can make you richer, how they can make you 10 times better. But you're just telling me, you're not showing me how it's going to transform my life. Because what you're actually selling to people is transformation. If you're selling Nexford course to somebody, you're selling a transformation. You're telling the person, your person is moving from A to B. So you're selling transformation. So you need to show me how I'm going to move from one place, one career path to another, how I'm going to make from $100 to $200, because that's what people want. People want to be able to, you want to be able to show them. So rather show them than tell them. Then your call to action should not be to sell, especially when you're on the DM. I know if you want to enter the DM, the first thing you want to do is to actually say, oh, come and buy my products, it's nice, you can do this. So the first thing that you need to do, especially on LinkedIn, is to get the person's contact information. Get an email, get a phone number. Then you now take it to another second level conversation. Now, if it's a phone number, that's fantastic, because it's not easy to get phone number. You can schedule a call and just call the person, introduce yourself, 2-3 minutes. Remember, LinkedIn has already cut off the old protocol. So the person already expects that you either call or either send an email. So you can send an email. For someone like me, I like to write. So sending an email would be, I'll be able to pass across my message very well via email. So I'll be able to sell to you very well via email and tell you what my likes and what you can benefit and what you gain. So I'll rather send you an email. So if I get an email and a phone number, I then do my follow-up. So remember, we said lead generation. The goal is to get a phone number or email, not to just sell out. So when you get a phone number and email, it's a potential lead. You can keep it somewhere. If they not convert today, you can convert tomorrow. You can even invite them to the webinar content that you created. The webinar that you've created, you can invite them, you can send them, you can push them mails, you can push them messages. You can do that as well. Another new thing that happens on LinkedIn is there's the creator mode. Now, the creator mode allows you to, if you don't have it, I think you need to activate it. I think it's available for most people. Activate the creator mode. The creator mode highlights like 5 posts or 5 posts and features in on your profile. And it also gives you access to newsletters. So if you know how to write very well, because we're in a digital age, and that means that you need to learn how to write to actually sell. That's just the truth. You're selling digitally, you need to know how to write. Even if it's 1 or 2 copies that you write. So now, those newsletters allows you to send certain information, educative newsletters to people who are your followers. Those are something that they can read as well. They can engage with as well. Remember, we said give out value. When you give out value, you be able to sell. So if you give out that kind of value and you talk about maybe career, talk about how people can move from A to B, talk about universities that people can go to, then you can then sell. So that is very, very key. You can quickly move to the next one. I think I'm out of time. So follow Uno Road, like we say here. Follow thought leaders and replicate what they are doing. So you can follow people. You can actually copy. There's nothing wrong in copy. It's only when you're doing exam in secondary school and somebody's copying you and copy your name and copy everything that you wrote and submitted it. You know that one. That's not the kind of copy that we're talking about. The kind of copy that we're talking about is you can actually replicate what somebody else is doing. In my church, there's something that we say something like testimonies are, when you see testimonies and you rejoice with them, it can be replicated in your life. So rejoice with those guys, what they are doing, but look at the way they are creating their content. Look at the way they are trying to generate their leads. Another key thing that I want to give you, another expo that I want to give you on LinkedIn is that the algorithm now favors polls. So if you do polls, it will go far. So your polls could just be asking questions like, okay, do you think you want to earn an MBA now? Or why don't you want to earn an MBA? Can you give me 10 reasons why you don't want to earn an MBA? So people are willing to answer polls and surveys because it's very, very easy. You just click and go. They don't need to comment because commenting is very stressful for a lot of us. It's very stressful. So it might not, if people actually engage on your post, that means that you've actually moved them. You've actually influenced them. That is why they are commenting. That's why it's called them influencers, because they actually move you to do something. But sometimes you might just be in a move, and a lot of people are on the move. So if you put surveys out, people easily click and just run through. So we can move to the next one. So what are the success factors? Next one. So content is king. Don't try to convince anyone. Create content to help people. So always create content to help people. I can remember there's someone here. I know that I've been following him for a while. In fact, I used to call him, I used to say that he's the brand ambassador for Nexford. Because when I see him, I see Nexford. Do you understand? And that is the way it's supposed to be. When I see you, I see Nexford. Like, it's become a part of you. There has to be a joy in being an ambassador of the work that you do, of the business. The truth is, you can't really push out genuine content if you are not really into what you are doing, and that's the truth. And I remember one of the stories that he told one day like that. I know he's here. If he's not here anyway, I'll still talk. He told the story about how he found the love of his life. I can never forget. That story is still in my head. Do you understand? But whenever I see him, I remember that story. And I also remember that he's a brand ambassador for this particular service. And I can always reach out to him many times. And remember, we say we all know, we are all salespeople here. The sales process is long. It's only people that have already made up their mind since that actually buy immediately. A lot of people have not made up their mind. A lot of people, you need to take them through the stages of the buying process. And through the stages of the buying process, some of them involve educating them, sharing content with them, inviting them to the webinars that you've set up. Like I said, it's very easy to set up a webinar to invite people. People are looking for the limelight. Just look for one executive person, put him, just say, please, I'm hosting a program. I want you to come and talk about skills. Use that to generate leads. Put it on your WhatsApp status. Put it on your LinkedIn. People will come, even if it's one or two persons. That can be a quality person. LinkedIn they have a lot of quality people that you can actually convert. So if you are worrying about whether they will buy or not, you can't really worry because you know that at least a certain level of percentage of them are employed and they'll be able to afford what you are selling. But if they can't afford at the moment, they will tell you or you can reach out or follow up with them. So that's very, very key. That is why we're saying create content, push out content, talk more about. So next thing you need to do is network like crazy, attend meetups, connect with thought leaders and industry experts. So there are always online meetups, there are online communities. Some people have built communities on LinkedIn. Just look at it, you see that they build communities. So attend some people's program. If they are doing a program, attend it if it's free. Enter there. If it's even paid and it gives you access to a community on LinkedIn, you can do that so that you're able to sell to those people as well. So you can try and do that. We can move to the next one. So build a community, like I said, support each other, share ideas, and genuinely reach out. So try and comment people's posts, interact with them, genuinely appreciate them. So those are ways to get access. So remember, as salespeople that we are, there are a lot of gatekeepers that always block us from getting sales. So commenting on people's posts, remove the gatekeeping and all that, because the person is seeing your name. And there's something that happens when you comment on people's posts. When somebody else comes, if you are the first person to comment, the way the algorithm works is that when other people now see the post, they will see your comment first. Your comment will be top. And then people will now click on it and then they'll check your, now if they click, if you write something that is thoughtful, and when they mean thoughtful, like rich, people will go back to your profile and then they will check you out and they would like to do business with you. Remember, we still go back to the fact that your profile needs to be optimized. And you might not be somebody that likes to engage or somebody that likes to write content. Okay, that's fine. I can't push everybody to write content. I can't push it. I have a lot of people that I know that they can't actually write content, which is true. That might not be their strength. But if you cannot write content, I want to believe that you can like and you can engage people's posts. You can become a super commenter. a super commenter. If you're a super commenter, you can steal people's followers. That's the truth. You go to somebody's post and write something very thoughtful. There is no how people will not go and check that. Who is this person that has sense? They will go and check you out. So it happens that way. You can move to the next one. So the rule of the game is being consistent. As much as we might not really see the results immediately, but you have to be consistent with time. Take out time. If you remember this movie, this guy, this young man, he was being bullied by his the other classmates from the other country. They were bullying him. He could not fight, but he trained. And when he trained, he became better, right? So when he became better, he now became the champion eventually, right? So consistency is the rule of the game. So we can move to the next one. So why consistent? Because you need to show up on the days with only one like. Yes, there are days you post. Nobody will like your posts. Nobody will connect. But the truth is, the people that want to actually buy from you, from what I know on LinkedIn, the people that have money, I want to buy from you, they don't used to engage posts. I'm just telling you the truth now. They don't used to engage posts. They have money. They're just looking at you. The day you now go and put out one post that is controversial, they will not buy from you again. So sometimes you just have to stay in between. It's not because you don't want to talk about your religion or you don't want to talk about politics, but it's because, like I said, remember our goal is to sell. You're a salesperson, even as a professional, even if you're not selling digital products, you are selling yourself to people. So you have to put up a good front. At home, you can discuss politics, you can shout, you can say why Buhari is a bad person, why is evil, blah, 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 or you cannot come online and do the same thing. No, you can't do that. You have come to sell. Sell first. If you're a celebrity, if you're Davido, you can abuse Buhari because you have money somewhere. But you're not Davido, you're not all these big celebrities. You have things that you need to use your money to do. So it's key. So it allows you to grow in quantity and not quality because a lot of people are looking at the numbers. Somebody has 33 followers. She has 33 followers. That's why he's selling. It's a lie. People that have less than that are actually selling. If you cannot sell to 50 followers, how can you then sell to 10,000 followers? So don't look at the numbers. Remember, consistency is key. So become more focused. Keep your head on the goal. Don't be distracted. There are a lot of distraction on LinkedIn. I can tell you for certain. People are changing jobs. They are doing everything. They are putting pictures. They are smiling up and down. It's a lie. It's not that they don't have problems or have issues, but that's the front that they decide to put out. But that shouldn't be your distraction. I know some of us here might be saying that we don't want to go. There's too much intimidation in life, in competition. People will intimidate you with what they are doing. But you have to understand that you have a goal, and that is what you want to keep your head on. So you can move to the next one. It's not all about you. Like I was saying, we're almost done. It's not about you. A lot of people talk about this about content as if it is all about them. It's not them. It's not about me. I want money. I want to become better, but it's not all about you. It's about the person. Remember, you're trying to impact somebody. Like I said, being a brand ambassador is about understanding the values and the vision of a company. If you cannot translate that, you cannot influence people to feel that way about you. People need to feel a certain way about Nexford. Like if I come to Nexford and I want to do an MBA, like my life will forever be changed. And that is true. Your life will be changed. Your life will be changed. And that is very, very true. Your life will be transformed. Yes, that's not how you go for, you do a course, right? I think I spoke with one of your guys at Netfox. The lady spoke to me. We had an engaging conversation, and it was very transformative, right? So those are the kind of things that people want to know. They want to know that by coming or by engaging and doing business with you, they become better off. So it's about them. It's not about you. And then sometimes, and that's it. And the last but not the least, I think is the last. What builds the totality of a personal brand is your niche. Like we said, you can start out with your niche and then sell your branding style. Some people try to use colors when they brand, maybe green, blue, whichever is your branding style. Pick one so that when people come online and they see color blue, they know color blue belongs to Shell. And they recognize in their head content, share more stories, and talk about the values that you stand for. That will earn you trust. I think that's the last one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Sheon, for that insightful session. I've personally learned a lot, even myself, I've learned a lot from you. And if there's anything I picked out here, it's the 80-20 rule. So I've read that book as well. But honestly speaking, I never thought about it that it could be applicable to selling on LinkedIn. And you nailed it there where you said you cannot be selling a brand and 100% of the time you're posting what you're selling, which I totally and absolutely agree with you. So at some point, if every single time you're posting on LinkedIn, the only thing you post about is Nexford, then you get to bore your audience, obviously. So yes, using the 80-20, so it means if you're posting 10 things, only 2 should be about what you are selling. Fantastic one, Sheon. Thank you very much. We'll just do Q&A here. So we'll just take 3 questions. I have one here from Victor. Sheon. So Victor is saying many people aren't comfortable or convinced with online learning, especially now that it's new and not that much popular. How do I advertise and get new learners to register to an online university with this popular perception all over most people's mind?
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. I think he has answered the question in the question. You've answered the question in the question. You mentioned that people are not, they don't understand the value of online learning. It's your own job to now educate them. That's why you say create content, educate them, tell them why or what makes online a good version that they can go for. Think about it. Think about the stress it would take for you to go and do an MBA in the university in one of the countries in Nigeria. Think about the stress of transport. You're a working person. Think about how much transport you will spend. So definitely, you're going to save transport fare, number one. You're going to save the hassle of entering bus. Even if you drive a car, think about the fact that you can be stuck in traffic. Those are the things you want to communicate to your audience, right? The fact that you could be stuck in traffic. You talk about the advantages, educate them, tell them why online is a little bit different. You could get access to another thing I know is that Nexford has professionals who are also working, right? Am I right? You have access, exactly. You have access to these guys, exactly. You have access to professionals who have worked with top organizations and companies, and they can sit down with you live, interact with you. You can't really get that when you go to a national school here in Lagos. You can't really get that. But we are giving you a platform. So talk about, educate them, create content, tell them why they should come to Nexford. Not necessarily sell, like so we say content. Tell them why they should come to Nexford. Put up a post, 3 reasons why you should come to Nexford. Save money on transport, save money on your time, you can work and school. Another reason is that you can pay in, I think, instrumentals, right? You can pay in 6 months. Have you told your audience that? You didn't tell them if they can pay in 6 months. So if you earn a medium salary, that means you can still get your MBA. So you can say, you can put out the content and say, for ease of professionals, we know you are working and we know it's not easy, you have other things that you're doing. We've decided to break it down for you, you can pay. So inform them, give them information, give them content. That is how you eventually convert those ones because you need to give people a reason why they should not come to you, right? So create content, educate them. That's what is going to help you to actually convert them.
Thank you very much for that, Sheon. And Victor, just to add to that, there's this popular quote that says, anything that has to do with the future must first sound insane. Now, how I want you to see this is, imagine, say, 50 years ago, if anybody told our grandparents that you would sit down in Nigeria and do a video call with somebody in America, you know how they would look at you and say, what do you mean? I mean, 50 years ago. But now it's a reality that we're living in. Right now, we've all heard about metaverse, Facebook, and all of this transitioning and VR. See how that's whatever it is Mark is describing and the other guys about metaverse. See how insane it sounds. But that's the reality we're actually moving into. Now, online learning is not even so abstract anymore as it used to be. It used to be weirder than this. Say 5 years ago, you tell somebody that you get a degree without going to school at all, you know. So the first thing is the mindset change, you know. So your posts should be around, first, have it at the back of your mind that you're trying to change the mindset of people. You know, you're changing their mindset from what they understand about learning in the traditional university, and you're telling them about the future of learning, and that is Nexford University. So the change of mindset is very, very key. You have to craft that in your post when you're writing your content, and make sure that you're able to convince as many people as possible to just sign up to understand more via your link. Yes, I hope that answers your question. Please, if you have questions, just indicate by raising your hands up. Angam, thank you for joining in. Please just raise your hands up and then I'll allow you to speak if you have questions for Sheon before he would drop off shortly. Questions, just raise your hands up and you'd be allowed to speak. And you can drop your questions in the Q&A chat box as well. We're not asking questions now. Once Sheon drops off and he asks me a question I don't know, I will just refer you back to him. We have Sheon Odegbami in our midst. It has over 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, you know, so he's one of those top LinkedIn guys as far as LinkedIn Nigeria is concerned. Please, if you have questions, please feel free to ask him now. Okay, so in the absence of questions, Sheon would like to thank you for joining us today and for delivering such a powerful session and teaching us about personal branding and selling on LinkedIn. Okay, so we have
thank you.
We have one question here. Ijoma would like to talk. Ijoma, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, Sheon. Hi, Abi. My name is Ijoma Ozibo, Heritage Bank. Okay, I want to ask something that has been so paramount on my mind, guys. I understand at a point LinkedIn started behaving somehow, like you post something and all of a sudden you're no longer getting traction and you begin to wonder, is there something you're not getting right? Is there something wrong and all that? And when you check, you've done everything in the books. I've been listening to all you've been saying and I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to give myself like 100%, but I know I can say, okay, maybe like 70 or thereabout percent. I think I'm in line. Now my question is this. Are there any maybe supposed hashtags or basically hashtags that one can use and you say, okay, this kind of hashtag is going to make somebody have the visibility that he or she needs? Or do you recommend any particular set of people to be followed to ensure the person gets the needed traction? So that's the question.
Okay, that's a great question, Ijoma. Yeah, so sometimes, you know how LinkedIn works, they change their AI and their algorithm every time. So it studies behavior. And then sometimes it depends on the content. But LinkedIn doesn't have, LinkedIn hashtag doesn't work the way Instagram hashtag works. So you could do an hashtag. If a lot of people are not following the hashtag, they might not see your content. So hashtag is out of it. It's just a one or two things. But I know for certain that there are some type of posts that you put that will get you little traction. For example, if you do a carousel or you upload the document, it gets little traction when you do a carousel. Now, if you do a poll, I mentioned earlier that polls are now becoming the common thing, and polls are getting a lot of engagement on LinkedIn. That's another thing that you can try. You can try and put in a content like a poll as well. Then another thing that seems to be working very well is people adding pictures to text. So depending on the type of picture, you can work with text. So people add pictures to text also. So if you look for a very good picture, that will go with your text as well. So that one gets a lot of engagement too. Only text. You must be a very good person, a guru, or have a lot of following to go only with text. So what I do is I basically switch between contents. So sometimes I'll go for carousel, sometimes I go for polls, sometimes I go for text and pictures, sometimes I go for only text. And then another thing is, what time are you posting? For most of us in this, how do I say, these time zones, early morning is one of the best times to post. Or when people are on break, maybe by 12 or 1, or after work might not really work because people are tired. They might just want to really scroll through, but the best time to post on LinkedIn is in the morning. Between 7 to 9 a.m. is the best time because people are just settling into work and they're just coming on their phone. So when you post between that time, you get traction. But if you post at night, you won't get the traction that you need if you post at night. Then another thing is that when you first start out, if you have little or no followers, if you put a link in your post, it will not get traction because the system is designed. They don't want you to go outside the app. They want you to do everything within that app. So when you add a link, it won't get traction. So what I usually do is I wait for my views to reach about 100, then I go back and add the link on it. Or what I do is I go to the comment section and add the link on the comment section. It won't be affected. But the moment you decide to put it on the post, it will not get traction. So those are some of the things that you need to check. Are you putting links on your posts? If you're doing that, you need to remember that. But you have a huge following, maybe 100,000 followers. That would be fantastic. You can put a link, it will go through because you have a lot of people that will actually engage it when it's not going fast. So those are some of the things that you need to watch out for. So you could try text and picture. Mix it with it. Look for a fine picture. Let it go with your text. The cocoa is to just grab attention. And I know that when you do blogging and all this kind of stuff, there's a reason why the bloggers use a certain type of picture. They know the picture might not even be related to the post, but because it calls attention, when it calls attention, it gets people to see your post. So look for a picture that can call attention and then drop your text there. So you could do that as well. So I hope that one will be able to help.
Thank you very much, Ijom, I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
I think it quite does. Yeah, I think it quite
Yeah.
does. Thank you very much, Shion. Just to add to it, another thing is I noticed, and this works for a lot of social media platforms, consistency. Shion mentioned consistency earlier. And what I noticed is that, for example, now you post today and then you wait another 3 weeks or you wait 2 weeks again from then and do another post. So once the platform is not seeing your post, on a regular basis, it reduces the number of people that you can actually reach when you put out posts. The link that Sheil mentioned too is something that actually affects your post. If Instagram if Twitter, I know that happens on Twitter a lot. Twitter, LinkedIn find out that, oh, you just want to come and take people away from this app, then they show fewer people your post. Another thing is growing your platform itself. So if you have, say, 50 followers, of course, you can't compare your reach with somebody that has, say, 1,000 followers. So, and I mentioned earlier that it's very easy to build on LinkedIn because all you just need to do is to go and connect with people, to identify professionals that you want to connect with and connect with as many people as you can. I don't see any reason why anybody should have less than 1,000 connections on LinkedIn because you just need to click. And they are in your pipeline or in your network. Thank you, Shion, for that. If I please Go ahead with your question.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon.
My name is Ifanya Kaleme. It's not really a question, it's kind of a contribution to the our flow of discussion. So based on having traction online on LinkedIn, I'm actually talking from experience. I have over 11,000 followers. And sometimes when I do posts, I'll just see like 2 people or 10 people. But there is a time that you also post, especially if you are consistent, you will now see that that post has boomeranged. Like I did a post about 2 days ago. In less than an hour, I already have 100 likes. In 3 hours, I had like 300 likes. So what I do to encourage myself is when you also go to influencers, those people you see that their posts, sometimes their posts to gather 23,000 likes, and you're wondering what happened here. You go through their profile, you will see that they even have some posts with 10 likes. They have some posts with just 50 likes, and you see other posts with 23,000 likes. So it goes down to you now, number one, understanding your audience, and number 2, giving out content that speaks to that audience. Like Mr. Shen rightly said, the time of posting. I also realized that because of the kind of audience I have, if I post in the mornings, I won't have traction. But my posts that always go far are posts that I do in the evenings. Let's say I post exactly 5 o'clock. What happens is that if I have an influencer like that post or comment, other people will start seeing it, and other people will start commenting and start liking. That's how viral post travels on LinkedIn. So you need to study your audience. Who are you following, or who is following you? And then you know, okay, this is the person that will actually react to my post if I post now. And once you get those people to react or like your post or comment on your post, it goes far. I follow 2 key people, and I always reach out to them as mentors, Dr. Rita Oji and then Professor Kepe. So by the time I do a post and either of them comes to comment or like it, that post will travel far because they have a large audience, and people there's this credibility and trust that they have. And so that's how you also gain traction. I think it's called association in sales, value of association, associating your brand with another brand. That is how you can also build your profile on LinkedIn. So this is from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That was excellent contribution there. Yes, Innocent Ijama, the floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are, Innocent. You can hear you.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much. I've actually learned a lot. Currently, I have just about 1,300 followers on LinkedIn, and I think Nexford actually added to that number. I had just about maybe 300 followers before Nexford, so now I have over 1,300 followers. Yes, but I wanted to know, I know there are paid Facebook ads, Instagram ads. How do we go about paid LinkedIn ads? Thank you.
Okay. Joman, thank you for your question. Innocent. Yeah. So for LinkedIn paid ads, now the thing is, it's a lot expensive. That I'll tell you. When you do a Facebook ad, you can run a Facebook ad as low as 500 naira. That's about $1 or less than $1, right? And still get a number of results. But $500 will not do you anything on LinkedIn. That's the truth. Sorry, 500 naira or $1 will not do anything on LinkedIn. 2 will not do, 3 will not do. I think the least you can start with is $10. And $10 right now is about 5,600. So I'm just trying to base the odds. So 5,600 for maybe a reach of about 200 to 1,000 impressions. That's not what you really need right? So if you want to run a LinkedIn ad, you might need to have a certain robust fund somewhere that you want to use to. But the good thing is that they are quality people, like we mentioned earlier, they are quality people on LinkedIn. So if you run that kind of ads, there's no how you will not see 1 or 2 people that will be interested in it. But look at the costs different. That's why a lot of us run to Facebook, because we know that we can still generate more on Facebook with less. Not to say that running a LinkedIn ad is not fantastic or good. It's fantastic or good, but you see a lot of them running LinkedIn ad are big corporations or big organizations that they have a large number of marketing budgets that they can spend on LinkedIn ads. Do you understand? So I don't know if probably some of us may have, maybe we have 100,000 at our disposal, but wouldn't you rather take the 100,000 and put it on Facebook than put it on LinkedIn? Because on Facebook with 100K, you can run an ad for a whole year. Yeah, you can run the ad for a whole year. But on LinkedIn, you might not pass 1 month with it. And if you run the ad for a whole year and you did the copy very well and whatever you're using, I'm sure that you have more conversions. So that is why you see a lot of people try and use influencers to do posts for them on LinkedIn, because they've already calculated the how I say it, the cost ratio. That's why they use a lot of influencers, because it's cheaper for them and they will most likely get the result that they want, because the organic reach on LinkedIn is still very high. I think there are about 3 platforms that have a lot of organic reach. That's TikTok, of course, professionals like, I don't know, me, I can't use TikTok, but TikTok has a good reach. Twitter has a good reach. If you build, Twitter has a good reach. LinkedIn has a good reach. That means that they're still organic at this moment. Nobody's asking you to pay over the top money just to get more engagement. So that means that there's possibility that even you with 10 followers, if you post, you can go viral and you can get so many followers. That's why you see that you might have 1,000 followers and you did a post and you saw 1,000 likes on it and engagement. The organic reach is still there. So these are platforms that you can still make when you have the opportunity. But there are also other LinkedIn ads you can do. You can do these email messages. So they're just targeted. Maybe that'll be the best one you can do. The email messages, if you have a certain amount of budget set aside, the email message, just craft a message. The message will just land in the inbox of the person or the inbox of your target audience. Let's say you targeted HR guys. So you can target all the HR guys in Lagos and send them that targeted message as an email. But of course, you need to have a budget for that and then look at your cost ratio. And if you want to take another route, you could say, okay, you want this influencer to help you to push it. So those are other ways that you can go about it. But I would say it's always cheaper on Facebook than on LinkedIn. So you see a lot of digital marketers focus on Facebook than on LinkedIn. Not because they don't know that LinkedIn works, but because they know that it's a quite expensive. So they rather focus on other places. Even Twitter too. I know Twitter too is expensive to a little bit, but not as high as LinkedIn. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much, Sean. So
All right,
we're
thank you.
already out of time, and I see one last question here. I think this will be the last question we would have for Sean before he drops off. So this is from Damilola Sean. She says, hello, Sean, thank you for the beautiful presentation. Please, I don't know why my LinkedIn account is restricted.
So hi, Damilola. I don't know, do you use any, so there are a couple of reasons why your LinkedIn account can be restricted. Number one, if you use a third-party application, I noticed that some salespersons, especially some of us and maybe B2B, we use third-party applications. So if you use a third-party application to pull out emails and phone numbers of people, and LinkedIn gets to find out, they're going to put a restriction to your account. And that's one of the things that happens.
Okay. I don't know. I just opened, I've opened 2 now, and then I opened one yesterday and they just said it has been restricted again. I don't know why.
Hi, Sean, are you there?
think we'll call it a day. When else I can.
Okay, Shion, thank you very much for joining. I think Shion has dropped off now. All right, so, okay, so guys, I hope you had a good session with Shion. I learned a lot personally. So I'll quickly run you through updates that we have with YouNext, and then we'll conclude this session. The first one is that we now have 2 learning spaces in Nigeria. We have one in Lagos. This is the address here. And then we launched, we opened another learning space in Abuja. That was earlier last, in October 30th. So here are the 2 addresses. This is something else that you can actually inform people about. And the spaces are just a place where people can, Nexford learners can go to learn, and free of charge. They have access to internet and all of that. You can also have meetups here. So it means if you have any lead or anyone that you'd like to, that wants to see a physical space, you can actually take them to any of these spaces if you're located in any of these locations. So you can take them there to say, oh, this is like a Nexford community space. Yes, the other update is December promo. So yes, it's actually into a new month. And so in December, we usually have this promo commission where your learners that you refer that enrolls in December, you get additional commission to what would normally get. So for December 2021, MBA referrals would attract $300. So every single person you refer that enrolls in December, you'd get $300 for MBA enrollment. And then for the BBA, you get $150. And then for certificate courses, you get $50 as usual. So I hope the session has helped you to, understand what you can do better and how to brand yourself on LinkedIn and sell more on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, and this is general questions about YouNext or any feedback about the program, please let's just do that for 2 minutes, and then we can call it a day.
Let's call it.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I have a problem with tracking people who visit Nexford website with my link, or people who have enrolled. Like, is there a possibility of getting a traction of what is happening? I've gotten a mail before, but a long time ago, showing me people who have opened through my link, and people who have engaged, people who have registered, people who have enrolled. Hello?
Okay, yes. Okay, so Ifeanyi, right?
Innocent.
Innocent Jama. All right, so what you do is anytime you need an update on your lead, just send an email to YouNext, and we'll respond to you. Just send an email to request for an updated list. We're working on a platform that would allow you to see in time the number of leads that you have and all of that, but that is still in the workings. We're still looking out for third-party softwares that we can use. But for now, just send an email to YouNext and ask.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, Ijoma, your hand is up. You have a question? If you have any questions about YouNext or any issues or any personal feedback you'd like to share, please feel free to share it now.
Sorry, I don't have any question again. Sorry about that.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, no problem. All right, so guys, do you have any questions? Are we good? Are we good for December?
Yeah, we're good. We are good.
Who wants to make $6,000 in December? So see, legit, if it means what we have is if you have 10 enrollments in December, that's 3,000. That's 300 by 10. That's $3,000. So we want you to celebrate Christmas in a big way. We'll be here to support you with anything you need. As usual, please just send an email. We're one email away. Just send an email and we'll respond to you within 24 hours at the very maximum. Thank you. It's been a wonderful session. I guess we'll speak again. We'll let you know when the next session would be. Thank you for joining in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a great week and December ahead. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.